I want everyone to understand that you just witnessed, and perhaps this is clickbait, perhaps this is hyperbole, but to everyone who clicked on this video, I want you to understand that you just witnessed one of, if not the, greatest Monday Night Raw in the history of WWE. I hope I'm allowed to be a bit candid as this video comes before the WrestleMania 41 video I had planned. Thank you for your patience. My content takes a while to produce, but I'm about to flood y'all with new videos. To everyone who watched my first post, thank you. Close to 1,000 views for your first video is insane, and I'm about to feed y'all. But I had to make this video next because last night was not a match nor segment short of historic. When I made this channel, I wanted it to be different from many channels, as I'll be incorporating storytelling in each video I post, because the art form we all love is storytelling. But today I just want to talk. I want to just recap what I don't casually label as peak cinema. I want to read you a quote. "You heartless bastards. You boo him on Friday, then cheer him on Friday, then boo on Sunday, and I say his name, and the man we all put on our shoulders last year because he finished his story now discuss you. That's what's wrong with this." This was John Cena's remarks on not just Cody Rhodes, but the WWE universe and wrestling fans as a whole. This, how impactful it was my favorite quote from the entire show and one of my favorites from wrestling in years. Last night you bared witness to what John Cena would tell you was the last real champion in WWE history, and the segment was gold. Triple H and WWE are not just telling the story of John Cena now going from hero to heel, but using this storyline as a mechanism to hold a mirror up to the IWC. And although I've despised heel John, he's right. He's right about all these people. And if you aren't excited about the farewell heel run champion tour Cena's on, perhaps this segment ended up RKOing some sense into you. Remember when I told you in my first video that I was welcomed into WWE fandom in 2009 by a special rivalry? This is a full circle moment for me as a fan, and I need y'all to strap in, because backlash is coming. I think WWE took a misstep in the women's tag team division, kicking Bayley to the side the day before her earned Mania spot to bring back Becky Lynch. I was excited to see Becky return, but to have her and Lyra Valkyria only hold the belts for, 20 hours? Just to have Becky despicably turn heel on the innocent Lyra? While I like this heel turn, it could have been done without this runaround. However, you can't deny the women's division just got spiced up. Speaking of the women's division, did you see this coming? This is what Raw after Mania is supposed to be. Surprises that literally get you out of your seat at home. Champion versus champion. Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer. We expected nothing shy of a banger from two of the best in-ring workers in the entire industry. They were cooking in what we all can dream of as a WrestleMania match one day, until the insertion of Roxanne Perez, Julia, and eventually Rhea Ripley. And if you need any proof that WWE's women's division is stacked, just feast your eyes. Just when you thought Alpha Academy was primed to take the tag team championships off the New Day, they were instead hit with Rusev Day. Long rumored, one of the greatest United States champions in history has officially returned to WWE. I'll admit I wasn't in favor of this move. While Vince McMahon is no longer running the show, Rusev was a great talent and arguably a generational act wasted in his first stint in the company. Now with a loaded roster and a crowded scene that largely has its hierarchy set in stone, who's to say Rusev doesn't get lost in the shuffle again? We've seen this happen with Andrade and Cross in their returns to WWE as well. WWE's really gonna have to show me that they're ready to go all in with Rusev and build him back up as a threat, at least in the mid-card scene consistently, if nothing else. If they don't fumble this again, all hell will break loose on Raw. Wrestling fans online will lead you to believe that Jey Uso is some type of disgrace to WWE. That his push is inorganic, that he's forced upon us, and that no one wants a 5-move merchant. All of this discourse on the internet, just for his music to hit in every arena around the world to turn into a scene resembling this. Look, Jey Uso had to triumph at WrestleMania. You cannot have had Jey lose to Gunther for a 4th time in a title match, waste his Rumble win, and not avenge the gruesome act his brother was put through. He would have been left with zero credibility and erased momentum, stopping him from logically being able to go into another compelling program and definitely not challenge for either world title again. And this is coming from someone who didn't necessarily agree with the finish in their match. I can't help but recall John Cena's comments about the fans when I see Jay, how he labels them as fickle and wishy-washy. With you one moment, praying for your push, and then calling you overrated and wanting you gone the next. Jay deserved this moment to celebrate. And even though I don't think it needs to be a long reign, nor do I really expect one, this is the rise the fans chose. He deserved this moment with his brother and to reunite with a close friend. But what happens next for our new World Heavyweight Champion? It appears the seeds might have already been planted. With the women's tag team titles back in the group and Dom standing tall with his first singles championship, the Judgment Day are riding on a high. Dom's first successful defense is in the books after a returning JD McDonough returned to cause Penta the match and secure gold sting on Dirty Dom. It appears as if everyone is locked in with being the top stable in WWE again, except one man. If WWE was smart, instead of having Finn tread water and dragging out the Judgment Day in this story just to ultimately have another lackluster resolve and dead-end plot, they could build the resentment and bitterness within Balor until it awakens something inside him. But all we can do now is hope that those seeds are being planted. The most shocking moment of the weekend came when a new alliance forged broke the entire industry. For Raw's final segment, we were greeted by Paul Heyman and his new client, Seth freaking Rollins, for the first time since the swerve of the century on night one of Mania. But if you thought CM Punk wasn't going to have some pushback against his former best friend, and that Roman Reigns wouldn't as well against his former wise man after being stabbed in their backs, you were dead wrong. But if you also thought the swerves ended there, you were also dead ass wrong. We have shifted from the roots of the Hounds of Justice to a pair of new dogs barking together. Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins, now shockingly with Braun Breaker, and they're forming something special here. And what's brewing might be a storyline and or stable that goes down in wrestling history. These three, standing side by side, the two legends lying in waste at their hands, was how the best Raw of Mania of the decade went off the air. Now, if you're a wrestling fan like me, how could you not watch this episode of Raw and not think that this is what wrestling was meant to be? Now, I think wrestling fans should just go ahead right now and begin to temper expectations going forward after an episode of this magnitude. Not every show is going to be full of former champions returning after 5-year absences, or Hall of Famer heel turns, or potentially future iconic stables forming. But when you look at the pacing, the aftermath of Mania, the seed planting, the foreshadowing, the surprises, how could you not look at this as one of the greatest Monday Night Raws of all time? What up, y'all? It's Wrestling Kenzo, and I appreciate y'all checking out just my second video on the channel. We're coming up on our first 100 subs, so I hope you stick around to see what we building over here soon. Because in my next video, I'm hitting y'all with my top 5 favorite moments from WrestleMania 41. Sorry for the wait, but it'll be worth it.